yes, I would say a good half of those picks, receivers weren't where they're supposed to be, or they're tipping the ball in the air when it's right in their hands. Gone the days, and this is something that's been a pet peeve of mine as far as receivers in the NFL over the last 10 to 20 years. Very few wide receivers catch the ball with their hands. And when I say very few, you're probably talking about the top 5 receivers in the league, and that's it. Everybody wants to get the ball, hit their body, and hug it, and, as soon as it gets there. You can't do that. You've got gloves for a reason. Put your hands out, catch the ball.
Well, and to that point about gloves, I've been watching these, top, NFL 100 they've been doing on the NFL Network. They've been doing all these different 100 things, 100 greatest games, 100 greatest plays, 100 greatest characters. Right now they're doing 100 greatest game changers. And quite honestly, I don't understand their definition of game changers or how they're ranking everything. But one of the things that got ranked in the episode that I've seen so far are the gloves gloves and Stickum was actually put together as a game changer in the NFL. And Keyshawn Johnson said, listen, these gloves that they wear today, you could put a stick at the end of the glove and just put it out on the field and throw the ball and it would be caught.
Yep. Pretty much. I mean, Joey Bosa of the Niners, when he got his interception run back against Kyle Allen last week, said, I don't understand how receivers drop passes. The gloves they have, these things are amazing. Like, he was praising the gloves post-game this past Sunday. So, yeah, I don't understand why every receiver wears the gloves, but none of them actually use the gloves. And that's where I have a problem with the receiving core, probably minus Mike Evans, but he does it too. Lets the ball hit him in the chest, and then he's hugging it. Why wear gloves if that's all you want to do as far as, quote, catching the ball?
Everyone knows.
We have all these skills
competitions
at the Pro Bowl where they're doing one-handed catches, and they can't do this in a game. Like, you practice this stuff on a regular basis.
Well, and that's the first thing you teach a wide receiver is you don't let the ball hit your body. You catch it with your hands. You make the lovely diamond, and you put the ball in the middle of the diamond. And I taught that to my kids, teaching flag football. I mean, these guys should know better.
And pretty much when you let the ball hit your body, it pops up in the air, and typically there's about 2 or 3 defenders around licking their chops to be like, ooh, mine. And that's what's been happening on quite a few of Winston's interceptions. Yeah, there's about 1 or 2 that he's thrown directly to the DB or the linebacker, but for the most part, they're tip balls.
Yeah. Well, and that could be an inaccuracy by the quarterback too. If he's throwing it high, you don't really have an opportunity.
Well,
but if it's bouncing off their body, then that's different.
Yeah. And that's where I have the problem. The ones that are bouncing off the body. The high ones, and you could be getting hurried or rushed or whatever. You're making an errant throw, trying to force something. I get that. You're rolling out. You're trying to avoid getting sacked. You're trying to hurt and push the ball 7-8 yards down the field. It's a little high. The receiver has to stretch out. He's 6'1". He should probably be 6'5", leaping for this ball and doesn't quite get a fingertip on it.
The Cleveland Browns are 2-5. Oh, yeah.
Final injuries, the Buccaneers. O.J. Howard is questionable, is the biggest one for the Buccaneers. Also for the Seahawks, aside from their center, their pair cornerbacks, Trey Flowers and Quandre Diggs, are also listed as questionable.
The Cleveland Browns are 2-5. The Denver Broncos 2-6. The Browns are ranked 23. The Broncos are 27th. The Browns are favored by 3. Last game that was held here between these two teams was December of last year. The Browns won 17, Broncos 16. This was at Mile High Stadium. I heard Joe Flacco go off on his coaches, and then he magically got benched for a neck injury, which appears to be real. But it doesn't look right. We're both going with the Browns. You're locking the Browns. I got to tell you, though, it's a dangerous lock. Baker Mayfield is not the same Baker Mayfield we saw in his freshman campaign here. He is definitely going through a sophomore slump. I don't know what it's going to take for Baker to sort of shake the slump off. But there's too much talent with the Browns for them to be 2-5. And some of it, yes, is coaching. I mentioned on the recap show, literally the stupidest, the dumbest thing I have ever seen in the NFL. In my entire years of watching the NFL, I've never seen something more dumb than on 4th and 10 in your own, like at your own 29, taking a delay of game penalty because you decided you don't want to punt, you want to go for it. Against the best defense the league has seen so far this season, and maybe ever. What? What?
So the reason I'm locking the Browns this week has nothing, absolutely zero, maybe less than zero to do with Baker Mayfield. He could not play quarterback. I'd still lock in the Browns. They need to run the ball. And I'm not saying that the Patriots got exposed last week, but running the ball seems to work for a lot of teams these days. And I don't know why everyone's hell-bent on putting 3, 4, and 5 receivers on the field on every single play and spreading out and running it. Look, everybody's going to come back to the fold sooner or later. People are going to start employing fullbacks again. They're going to come back in style. When Nick Chubb is on, this Browns offense moves, and it's like a track meet up and down the field. He had 2 pretty good carries against the Patriots last Sunday. Yeah, he fumbled twice. He still got over 120 yards rushing. I think that's the recipe for beating the Broncos this week, despite them being in Mile High. Lean on the running game. I don't even know the name of the person who's playing quarterback for Denver this week. We already mentioned Flacco and Locke not playing. So, Jay, you're going to have to help me out with the guy's name because I don't know who he is.
Brandon Allen. Brandon Allen is the starting quarterback this week. He played college football for the Arkansas Razorbacks, was the starting quarterback there from 2013 to 2015, was a 6th-round draft pick by the Jacksonville Jaguars in 2016. He is, as they say,
what has he done since then?
As they say, he is a Jag, just another guy.
Okay.
Brandon Allen is not going to win games for the Denver Broncos.
Definitely not this game.
And I could eat those words. I have no problem eating those words. I have no problem saying that. He's throwing to Cortland Sutton and Deshaun Hamilton.
Okay. What does that mean? First of all,
exactly. It means he has no weapons. Not only is he just another guy, he has no weapons to throw to. It just, I don't know what.
He would also need time to throw the ball, and I don't think he's going to have it.
Yeah, the Broncos are a mess. The Broncos are not going to be a competitor for quite some time, which is a shame because they seem to do this all the time. They get themselves a decent defense, but they don't have an offense that can complement that defense.
So here's another question. How long does Elway keep his job?
That's a great question. And the only reason why Elway probably still has a job is because the ownership problem since Pat Bowles died. Pat Bowles?
Bolin.
Thank you, Pat Bolin. Since he died, has been up in the air. The kids are fighting over who has the actual control of the team. And I think ultimately whomever gets control of that team will end up being the one that fires John Elway. But yeah, the offense, I mean, you have Philip Lindsay and that's it.
Yeah. Real quick on the injuries for the Browns, Demarius Randall and Sheldrick Redwine, both safeties, listed as questionable. For the Broncos, outside of Joe Flacco, Corey Nelson is not going to play. Will Parks and Bryce Callahan are also not going to play. All of them are listed as out. And Jawan James, tackle, is listed as doubtful. That's about it, worth mentioning.
No, there we go. The Green Bay Packers are 7-1. They are at the Los Angeles Chargers, who are 3-5. The Packers are 3rd in our power rankings. Chargers are 21st. Packers are favored by 3.5. Aaron Rodgers, 6 touchdowns, no picks for a 132.5 rating in 2 career games versus the LA Chargers. Not to mention, Packers outscore the Chargers on a per-game basis 26.9 to 19.6. I don't know what's going on with Phillip Rivers and the Chargers offense.
Well,
they just can't score points.
On Monday.
They did fire Ken Wisenhunt. Maybe that'll make a difference. I don't think it's going to make enough of a difference for this particular game. Packers are just rolling. They're on fire, and I think they're going to remain on fire in the house that is not a home field advantage for the Los Angeles Chargers. And when I say house, I do literally mean they play in a house. They play in someone's backyard. That's basically the stadium the Chargers play in right now. We are both taking the Packers. You're locking them.
Of course I'm locking them. I mean, it's the Chargers. Look, I never expect anything from the Chargers, and they're proving me right this year. I mean, Phillip Rivers, this offense, again, you talk about a team with a cavalcade of talent that underperforms. This is it. You know, them and Cleveland are probably two of the more talented teams in the league across the board on both sides of the ball, and pretty much have set the bed all season. Nothing to show for it. And the wins that the Chargers do have has nothing to do with them. It has to do with the ineptitude of the teams that they played, who basically gave them victories in the final seconds by doing boneheaded things. So, no, I have zero faith in the Chargers. The only thing I'm surprised is that they're not winless right now.
The rumors about Phillip Rivers being traded, the rumors of Brady heading to the LA Chargers, everything seems to be very interesting about the LA Chargers. I know Rivers doesn't like Los Angeles as a place. He commutes from San Diego on like this bus that's been super equipped with, you know, video machines so that he can basically do his homework on his way to work.
Right.
I don't know what's going on there. But you can never seem to get two good teams that share a city at the same time. You know what I'm saying? Like,
never.
The Jets and the Giants are never good at the same time.
Nope.
And I fear that that's what we're running into here with the Los Angeles situation is the Rams are, well, they're for the most part, let's just say the Rams are good. And the Chargers just aren't.
Which is funny because the last time LA had two teams in town, the Rams were the so-so team and the Raiders were good. So, call this full circle. Real quick on the injuries, Chargers, running back Justin Jackson, defensive lineman Justin Jones, Brandon Mebane, Russell Okung nursing a calf after Sunday's win over Chicago. And for the Packers, Devontae Adams is still listed as questionable. Brian Bulaga has a finger injury, hopes to be ready for this week. Blake Martinez played through a fractured hand on Sunday, so he is listed as questionable. But the Devontae Adams injury is what everyone's keeping their eye on. I would stay tuned on Friday's injury report as well.
I would also say, too, that the fact that Phillip Rivers didn't move, that I have a feeling that the rumors of him being shopped around were overblown. I don't think the Chargers were really shopping Phillip Rivers.
Yeah, there's no point in picking him up right now, again, unless you have a team that's ready to win a title. And every team that's ready to win a title is set at quarterback for at least the next 5 years.
Well, and if I were looking at a team that Phillip Rivers should be traded to, when we did that little exercise before with Marcus Mariota, I would then say the Bengals would be a good place for him. I would say,
I
would say the Raiders would be, but what's that?
Is the Bengals a step up or a step back? Because talent-wise across the board, the Bengals are not as good, especially we're thinking that A.J. Green may not be there next year.
True, but I think he might have I think there's more potential for wins in that. Well, maybe not. I don't know. That's a good question, James. That's one that I didn't really consider. The other would be the Raiders.
Just as tough.
The other would be the Raiders, but I don't think the Raiders are ready to move on from Derek Carr. Plus, it was in division,
not yet.
so that wasn't going to happen. Who else?